Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Next Dimension Podcast, your podcast that's all about VR and also, in the future, more AR. And today, I'm happy to be here with Gary from Immersed Robot. Gary, how are you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you very much. Excited to talk about VR yet again, of course.
Of course, we love this topic and we can talk about this every week. And also here with me, of course, VR Flight Sim guy Steve. Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thanks, Sebastian. I just realised I haven't put my name again. I've just put VR Flight Sim Guy, but I do have another name, as you know, Steve. But yeah, it's great to be back here again.
Perfect, man. So I will probably call you VR Flight Sim Guy because I just read it.
Please do. It's fine.
No, man, just kidding. Steve, great to have you and looking forward to talk with you about virtual reality. And also with me, Sebastian Ang. I'm the founder of MRTV and the host of the Next Dimension podcast. And looking forward to today's show. Of course, we're going to talk about virtual reality. And today we're going to talk lots about Facebook because Facebook is still completely dominating this industry. We are going to talk about Facebook Connect, which is coming up in October, and we're going to think about, well, what might they actually talk about, or is there going to be something big that they will introduce? Let's speculate a bit. Then we're going to talk about that the FTC is going to sue Facebook once again for monopoly, right? For probably having a monopoly. And with our limited knowledge, we're going to try to simply talk about it and give you our opinions, what this could actually mean for the industry. Also, and that is the main topic today, we're going to talk about Horizon Workrooms. Horizon Workrooms is a collaboration and work app that Facebook just dropped upon us. Nobody was thinking about it, and well, I tried it out, and wow, I was kind of mind blown by it. Really, really cool software, and we're going to talk what it might mean for the whole direction of Oculus and Facebook going forward. So this is going to be an exciting show. For all of you out there who don't know yet what is the Next Dimension podcast, well, this is a podcast about VR and AR. This is being live streamed here on MRTV every Saturday at 9 p.m. Berlin time, 8 p.m. London, noon in San Francisco, and 3 p.m. in New York City. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Alexa, and everywhere where you can find podcasts. And we would be very happy if you could take out your iPhone or iPad right now, open the podcast app, and look for the Next Dimension podcast to subscribe to us and to give us a good review, of course. That was the best way to say, thank you, I enjoy your podcast. That would be really, really amazing. All right. Before we talk about our topics, we normally like to talk about what we did in our weeks, and why don't we start with Steve? VR flights. Yeah. It's you today.
I was expecting that.
Yeah. Surprising here. So, Steve, how was your week like? What did you do? And tell us about your week.
I tell you, I'll start with saying that I went back in time in VR. I've been trying the Vive Pro, the OLED version.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been borrowing it now for a couple of weeks. Well, actually more than that, about a month. From a fellow subscriber who really wanted to know what I thought about it, with a gear lens mod as well. And it wasn't all that bad, actually.
No, it's not.
It honestly, especially in sims like, the big Microsoft Flight Simulator and DCS, the ones that are heavy hitters on frame rate, with that low resolution, my graphics card was just basically sleeping. I was getting about 70 frames per second, which is unheard of in a flight sim. And on top of that,
you're right.
Yeah, it was so cool. And on top of that, obviously I was getting those beautiful colors that we all rave about, the OLED screen that has just disappeared right now. So yeah, it was actually, I was expecting it to be screen door everywhere and it just be an uncomfortable experience. But I actually really did enjoy it, and I was surprised. In fact, I was that impressed. I might even get one on eBay or like a second.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I might get one. Absolutely. Just for those moments where I just want a night flight or a beautiful sunset flight and I want smooth frame rate, where that resolution doesn't matter so much. Yeah, I actually realized that it's pretty damn good. Even the sort of older generation VR headsets, they still have a place.
Those lenses as well that you mentioned, Steve. So
yes.
It's got that mod in, hasn't it? I guess
that's
they
the only
make a big difference. Yeah,
I was going to say, because I've never tried a Vive Pro before, and so I may be spoilt by this gear lens mod that's supposed to increase the sweet spot a bit and sort of the clarity. So yeah, I might have to make sure that I, invest in that as well. But I was so impressed with that. So that was really cool.
Wow,
I did enjoy using that. In fact, I've got a video coming up of me flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator with like 80 frames per second or something crazy. And I'm like, this is crazy. It's brilliant.
Wow, yeah. And but how, again, about the lens mod? I think lots of people are interested in that. So
yes,
in my German community, there's some people who swear on the Pro 1 with this lens mod because they say, okay, there is no God rays whatsoever. There's a big sweet spot, right? You have the OLED colors. They even use it wirelessly with the wireless kit, right? The Pro 1. So would you agree with them that this is now, at the moment, one of the best headsets?
Absolutely. Honestly,
really? Wow.
I was shocked. Yeah, I agree with
Really?
that. I would buy the Vive Pro over the Vive Pro 2, personally, for me.
Okay.
Could you do like a similar thing with the lenses on the Vive Pro 2 though?
I'd like to know that. That would make a huge difference.
I would love that. I mean, if we could have the Pro 2 with a lens mod like this, this would be amazing. Since the displays of the Pro 2 are so good, if it wasn't for the lenses, right? Yeah. So we need that lens mod if it's possible. But I don't know if it's possible. So, but didn't you also feel that there is like slight optical problems? Well, I did the lens mod on the Vive 1, the original one, and I did have this fish-eye lens effect, which for me was like so bad, it kind of like totally killed the immersion for me.
Actually, if anything, this is funny really, because if anything, the Vive Pro 2 for me had like a stereoscopic kind of issue where I felt a bit cross-eyed after a while.
Okay, the binocular overlap is not so big.
Which obviously is a different thing, but you just reminded me that I had that issue, and I started to, no matter what I did with it, I started to get a bit of eye strain. I've never had that in VR ever before, but I had that with that. Maybe it was just my unit could have been a bit of an issue with it or something, but with the Vive Pro, not only is it, of course the resolution is not good, so you're going to have to super sample it. But just a touch of super sampling, I found that it was a lot sort of cooler as well. It's not driving those, that sort of, was it 2.5K per eye screen? So it's definitely a lot cooler in there as well. And maybe it's the gear lens mod. Maybe that, because obviously I haven't tried one without, so I can't compare. But I was actually quite impressed with the sweet spot on it. It wasn't too bad. Okay. It was a pleasurable experience, and I thought it would just be horrible. So, I'm definitely on the lookout on eBay for some sort of Vive Pro just to add to my gadgets there, just for that every now and then, that occasion where I really want those beautiful colours and. The frame rate for me was the big thing. That was just pretty impressive.
You're getting a big collection now, aren't you, Steve? Because I think you picked up a Pimax as well, didn't you?
Yeah, in fact, I've got two Pimaxes at the moment here. I've got a 5KS, which is kind of similar it's like the Vive Pro in the sense that it's a lot lower resolution, so it's better frame rate. But I didn't like the lenses on the 5KS. I had to change the IPD offset because. For whatever reason, the sweet spot was over here, not at the center. Really odd. Yeah. So, But I'm going to need a cabinet like Seb's in the background.
Yeah. Man, Steve, you're becoming the UK MRTV here.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'll reach the dizzy heights of that fame, but no, that's it's getting a bit crazy here with VR headsets.
I mean, we're all VR enthusiasts, so it's always good to have new headsets and to try them out. And especially if you have like great like outcomes like you have with the Pro 1, it's cool.
Yeah, honestly, it was. I was really impressed. I'm going to be sad to see it go, actually, but as I say, it was just surprised me. I'd sort of put it on for a second and go, wow, it's just the low resolution. It's just the sweet spot, everything. But no, it was actually quite a good experience, really. I'll just move on and just quickly say as well, Quest 2. I know we're going to talk about the Quest a lot today, actually, but my Quest 2 looks a bit weird at the moment. I'll just show you. It looks a bit strange because it's got this like protector. I'm sure you've seen them before, but it's the first time I've tried one of these protector things.
This is for protection, yeah.
In fact, it's got it on the sides there as well. And basically, I've been trying out a few products from a new I guess, developer on the scene called Kiwi Design. I'm not sure if you've heard of that before.
Yeah, totally. They are really good, actually.
Yeah. I got sent a box of stuff, which I was like, oh, wow, brilliant. And I've got these as well for my Quest 2 now, the kind of straps you see there on the camera. So it's a bit like Knuckles controllers, you just basically put them in. Yeah, and I was playing Sniper Elite.
They are good.
Yeah, you're good. You have everything, Seb. You have everything. But I was playing Sniper Elite for for a full battery length of the Quest. And it was so nice to be able to just let go of them every now and then, like you do with the Index controllers. And I really do like these, actually. I think this, and I've got the Elite strap as well from them, which it's okay. It's not amazing, if I'm honest, but it's about €30 or so. It's a bit plasticky, but to be honest, it does the job. It's quite comfortable once it's on your head. It's not as good as some straps out there, but as I say, for the price point, I think it's not too bad, really.
How much is it?
Is it 30 or €35? I think it is. Fairly cheap. But one thing I didn't like was this facial interface that they have. You can see that it doesn't actually fit properly. I've tried everything, but like the phone pad itself, it's just a little bit too big for the facial interface, and it just doesn't really. I personally prefer VR covers for their phone pads, just a bit more quality. But apart from that, I actually loved everything else that they basically sent to me. I was quite impressed with the quality, considering how cheap they are. So,
if you use the Elite strap for the Oculus Quest, Steve, did you get one of those, the battery one or the normal one?
What, you mean the actual official Oculus?
Yeah, the official one.
No, I haven't. I've never tried one, actually.
No, I was just going to ask, because Sebastian, you've got one, I know.
Yeah. I got it from the UK.
And I was just going to ask if you had any issues with it, because of course we know this issue with the cracking.
Not at all. Not at all.
I haven't either, but
it's great for me. I love it.
It's probably only a matter of time, isn't it? Because a lot of
I've seen them break.
Lots of people they break.
Lots of people have even had them since launch. I got like one of the first batch as well, and some people say that was the bad batch, but mine's been okay.
Same here.
I've never had any problems, but
actually, I love that thing.
I do. It's fantastic.
Right? It's fantastic.
As long as it doesn't break.
Yeah, you're right.
Have you got one of these, Seb? The actual Kiwi version? Does that compare at all to it?
The Kiwi, I don't have it yet, but they're also going to send it to me. I have the feeling they send it out to these influencers so that we show it to people. That's what I think they want.
Yes, I think you might be right there.
I might be right about this.
Yeah, but no, it's quite funny actually. I did the review on my channel, and it's probably got the lowest views on my channel ever. It's so funny because I don't think people
you to show flight sim stuff.
I know exactly. I knew it wouldn't get many views, but it made me laugh because I don't think people care for the Quest 2 on my channel that much. But oh well, I actually love the headset. Apart from obviously the points we'll probably even we'll talk about later, but as a headset on its own, it's quite remarkable what it can achieve, really. But yeah, anyway, I'll just finish off by saying I'm going to be trying a AMD system soon by Stormforce, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be a top spec AMD, and I have an Intel system anyway that's with an RTX 3090 and everything on it. So I'm going to be testing out the AMD system alongside it to see how it performs in VR titles like Microsoft Flight Simulator and DCS. So that's going to be good fun. I've got it for about a month, so I'm definitely going to put it through its paces. So, yeah, very cool indeed. And that's all I'll say this week, I think. I don't want to talk too long. So I tell you what, I'll move it over to Gary, since you haven't been here for a while. And what have you been up to?
I picked up. I don't know if anybody remembers the last time I was on the show. We were speaking to Stan from Lynx.
Oh, that was a great show as well.
Yeah, it was a great show, and really enjoyed talking to him. And they are, for anybody that doesn't know, they are doing creating a VR AR headset which has passed through AR, and we were talking a lot about that. And on that show, I did mention that I've been looking into AR headsets lately, but I hadn't dived in and bought one. And then one came up, Magic Leap. Magic Leap one came up on eBay for £425. So I decided to dive in because I've just wanted to try an AR headset for such a long time now. So I picked one up a couple of weeks ago and I've been using it quite a lot. And I've made a video on my channel about it, quite an in-depth video about it. But, this is old now. It's nearly 3 years old, this headset. So you've got to keep that in the back of your mind as well. But I will say, although I haven't tried the HoloLens 2, I have, read a lot about it, and I've watched a lot of videos where they compare the HoloLens 2 with this headset, and a lot of people will still say that this ranks pretty closely with what HoloLens 2 is doing, which is probably the pinnacle of what AR, non-pass-through AR can do at the moment. So I've been just trying this for the past 2 weeks. This has been pretty much all I've been doing in terms of VR and AR, of course, these past 2 weeks, and it's impressed me. It's impressed me a lot. It's no way a consumer unit, as we all know. It was released under this title of the Creators Edition, and it's basically a dev kit. That's what it is. So you have the Lightwear headset, and it's tethered to the light pack here, which is the computation unit for the headset. Of course, it would be better if it was all self-contained, but that's not possible with what they're doing here. And it gives a really good overall impression of where we are at this very moment with AR glasses that uses this waveguide kind of technology. But I was far more impressed with this than I expected to be, and there are far more apps available as well, even officially, than I expected. So I've just been having a great time with this. I don't think I'll be keeping it forever. It's something that I wanted to try for a period of time, and then I will probably sell it on. But it's fantastic thing to try and just get a taste of, but it's in no way, it's got limited use. I guess that's the takeaway with this device. It's very limited use at this moment in time, but a fantastic thing to try nevertheless.
It looks amazing. I was just about to say, what kind of things would you, because I'm such an AR newbie, I haven't really tried anything like this before, but I'd be interested to see what's the main advantages of something like that, in terms of apps and stuff you do.
So one of the things that I tried and I really liked is I was just sitting at my office, at my desk in my office where I am now, and then you can put these on and you can still, of course, see through the lenses at your normal monitor, and then you can create all of these extra monitors around you which are running YouTube, web browser based stuff really. So
it's very James Bond, isn't it?
Yeah,
brilliant.
You can have all of these monitors around you, all doing different things. That was just a cool thing. I know it's almost like when people hear that, they'll probably say, "Well, that's sort of a very rudimentary use of AI," and it is, but it's just a cool thing to have. But besides that, there are loads of different apps, and there's one where you can go into. So it's got Universe Sandbox. That's one of the apps. I don't know if anybody's tried that. It's a VR title as well, available on Steam. And it's just like a physics simulator for the universe. So you can put planets where you want to put them. You can see the effects of removing stars from solar systems and all of these different things. It goes really in depth about it. But that's available in AR. And to have all these planets just floating around your room and you're able to just walk around them and interact with them in different ways, there is something quite special about it.
Yeah, magical, I suppose, almost.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's limitations with it in terms of how it can be used, because ideally you need to use it in a room which is not particularly well lit, because then you'll see these things that are being projected, they'll have a much deeper color and they won't be quite as transparent and that kind of stuff. So again, it's just a great thing to try. I really enjoy my time with it, but I can certainly see the limitations, and perhaps true AR glasses that we want, where they are these thin pair of glasses with everything self-contained, or they're running off 5G edge computing or something like that. I still think that's a ways away, unfortunately. And
Wasn't
Steve
it
is
something you tried, Seb, that was like that? I remember seeing something on your channel that was something similar.
Yeah, right. There was the Nreal light glasses.
That's it.
They are also really good, and they are
They
more
almost look like normal glasses,
right,
basically.
almost right, and they are like connected to your smartphone, which is a good thing to do. And they are more targeted towards us, the customers. And just like Gary said, to do these things, you can still look at your real world, but you can place different kind of monitors, virtual monitors in your room, which is kind of cool. But we're really still at the very beginning. And the question is right now, which version of AR does make the most sense right now? Is it this optical one where you can really see through the real world and then something is superimposed into this real world? Or is it more that kind of links approach where cameras are recording your real world and then you see your real world on your VR screen and then something is superimposed there? So that is the big question right now.
Yeah, and just on that point, because the thing is, so you've got like this pass through and then this optical kind of AR. That's what you were talking about there. And
Right.
the pass through, I'm interested to try. That is one thing I really want to try. However, I do see that, and from Stan's point of view at Lynx, when he was talking about this, he sees this more as a industry and enterprise kind of venture in terms of AR rather than a consumer product. And I don't know if pass-through AR can get to a true consumer product. One thing quickly is, do you remember a few weeks ago? I don't know. I'm sure you must have discussed it on the show, but where it was showing these Facebook Reality Labs was showing this footage of these eyes which were shown on the outside of these glasses.
Actually, we didn't talk about it in the show, but yeah,
Okay.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is that could be used. It's a perfect use case for not closing off people, but having, rather than being used in VR, they could use that in AR, in pass-through AR, so you can still see the wearer's eyes and they can interact in the same way as they would if they were wearing transparent glasses. I see it more useful for that kind of stuff rather than VR.
Okay.
Let me just quickly, because Skiva did ask about Dr. Broadport's Invaders,
exactly.
and that's one of the main titles. That's one of the famous titles of Magic Leap 1, and it's fantastic. It really is a highly polished shooter. It's a wave shooter more or less, but you do have these interactive elements in terms of like talking to NPCs and that kind of stuff as well, and that's all cool. The main limiting factor with all of these kinds of optical AR headsets is the field of view, both in the Magic Leap 1 and in the HoloLens 2.
Exactly.
And it is a limiting factor. I've heard people say that you sort of get used to it after a while, and maybe that's true, but it's still a frustration. I can't not see it. It's always there, this frustration of having your digital view closed off suddenly, and you can't get close enough to things. You can't. There's this clipping thing with Magic Leap 1 as well.
Yes.
Like it will start clipping things away if you get too close. Like these little dioramas that you see, you can't really get that close to them because as soon as you get close, they'll clip and they'll just disappear. And it's these things are all limitations of where we are at the moment, I suppose.
We are spoiled by VR because we already have like a wider field of view.
True.
So that sucks. Yeah. Anyways, so which was the most fascinating thing on that device? Is it like this Dr. Grodbort's or what?
Dr. Grodbort's Invaders. That's one of the I suppose the best, most impressive things that you can do, but it's not the most. I don't think it's the most fascinating. There's plenty of different things on there. There's this thing which is a collaboration with the band Sigur Rós, and it's it's an experience more or less, like an interactive experience. But I love Sigur Rós, the band, and it's just an impressive little light show, really. That's what this thing is. And that's great because it does utilize all of your real furniture around your rooms, and you have all of these things sprouting out of your walls and stuff. The general concept of AR, whatever it is, when I've only had it for 2 weeks, I'm just impressed with the general idea of it, just using it at the moment. So there's not really one thing that is really blown me away with it. It's all blown me away in the very limited scope of what it can do.
I guess as well for you, Gary, because obviously, like, you know, we're all VR and AR nut jobs here, aren't we? Let's face it. So you can see the potential. You can almost see what this means for the future, you know, as well. So even though it may be limited now, you can, you know, I'd be thinking, but just imagine what this is going to be like when it's, you know, the technology is really there.
That's exactly it. Yeah, exactly. And it's the same as when I first tried VR. You know, people tried VR in 2016, 2015, 2016, and you could say, yeah, it's great, but it's a gimmick and this kind of stuff. Well, don't look at it for that. Look at it of what this technology means going, just to have a little bit of foresight and understand what this could mean for the future. I think that's the takeaway with a lot of this stuff that we use as well.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're so early right now with AR, and I think we will also slowly get there where we are now with VR, where lots of people are using it. I mean, it's still not so many people who are using VR, but it feels like lots of people are using it for us in our little bubble that we are in, right? Yeah, right. But it's cool to see that we're also getting there slightly with the Quest 2, with its AR features. Right now with Workrooms, we're going to talk about it today a lot. And there's also like some parts which are a bit AR-ish, and that's going to be interesting. Yeah, cool that you finally have your glasses, your AR glasses. I know that you've been waiting for them for a long time to try it out, right?
I really have, yeah. So, yeah, that's basically been my last 2 weeks. It's been wrapped up in using Magic Leap 1. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say.
Okay.
So, yeah, Sebastian, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I've also done some things, obviously, of course, about virtual reality. So I checked out this here. This is a Quest head strap. So until now, I've been using the Elite strap with battery, which I totally love because it's more comfortable than the original head strap, and there's more battery, of course. But I also wanted to try something else because actually I got lots of great feedback from the community about this head strap here. This is the Bobo VR M2. And by the way, not sponsored, I bought it by myself. And this is some kind of halo strap, which will give you a similar comfort than as the PSVR, because it's simply the same concept. Just check this out. It looks very similar, right? And I must tell you, I was very impressed by it. It's really good. It's absolutely fantastic. So if you are looking for a better strap than the original, then this is a good choice. It's going to set you back 40 euros if you get it from your Amazon, from your local Amazon store. However, if you get it from AliExpress, it's only going to set you back like 20 euros. But you have to wait for like 2 weeks or so. But it's really, really good. It's actually great. So if you haven't watched my video about it, check it out. It's on my channel. The only thing that I'm missing, of course, now is the battery. Since I really, really need that extra battery life, since just 2 hours, it feels like it's always empty if it's on the normal one. It just is. This is the feeling that I have. Like 2 hours is not enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm constantly charging my Quest all the time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You have to constantly charge it. So I love the Elite strap with battery. It's way better. So now I'm going to do a mod. Next week, I'm going to mod like a battery pack here under it, and I bought some kit to do it, actually really especially made for this. So that's going to be exciting. And I love it. I really, really love that thing. It makes it even more comfortable than the Elite strap with battery. So now looking forward to mod that battery on there. It's amazing what you can still do with the Quest, like how you can mod it and how you can make it better. And lots of people are doing all kinds of cool things with the Quest. And I personally, I love to mod these headsets. You know, I mean, I'm the Franken inventor. So absolutely, you should totally try this if you want a better comfort and if you want to get rid of this front heaviness of this. This is really fantastic. Yeah.
That's the thing. What that looks like, it looks like it's got a bit more adjustability as well. Because with this one,
exactly,
it's kind of like you either have it like that or you can't really move things around a bit more. But with that, it looks like you really cut back the back of your head.
You can adjust it here. There's an angle. You can adjust it here. You can put this whole thing more to the front. There's lots of different things you can do. It's great. It's really great. And yeah, Skiva says, I gotta try it. Skiva, you gotta try it. It's really good. It is really, really good. And you can get it from AliExpress for like $20, which is like a steal. Absolutely good. Yeah, then I did another video about my new laptop from XMG, which is my hardware partner. So I'm lucky they sent over these cool hardware devices, and I get to use them for the channel. And this is a laptop with an RDX 3080, with a mobile RDX 3080. And yeah.
Beefy.
Oh yeah, it's great. it's fantastic. So I do hang out quite a lot in my caravan when I'm not in the city. When I need to get out of the city, I'm in my caravan, and then there I would use my laptop. And sometimes we also leave the city and drive around with the caravan. So in these instances, then I can still do PC VR. And having a mobile RDX 3080 is great. It's really great. So with this device, I can do full resolution Reverb G2 on the go. And yeah, it is great. It's not as good as the desktop RDX 3080, right? But it's still really, really good. So for all people who need to do like, Reverb G2 full resolution, PC VR on the go, yes, you can pick up RDX 3080 laptops right now. Still not cheap. Yeah, this is the one that I have. It's cost like 2,600 euros. So it's very expensive. But
that's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I just think,
but it's great.
Unless wireless, unless you really definitely want a laptop, I just feel, you'd just be better off with a PC, to be honest, a gaming PC, I think.
Yeah, of course. If you don't need it on the road, or if you right, but in this, probably some people need that to go on exhibitions in the future again, or actually it now starts again. So for some people it makes sense, but on the long run, everything will simply come from the cloud.
5G.
Yeah, really. I mean, right now, yes, we still buy like 2,600 euro laptops to do that, but in the not too far away future, everything is just being rendered in the cloud. But right now, we're still not there.
Well, yeah, but you say that, but like, I'm going to Ireland again soon, and
oh yeah, cool.
I would love to take a laptop with me and then maybe do a bit of flight simming high end off the cloud. But if I'm in the middle of, let's say, a mountain range or something, I'm not going to have I'll have clouds, but not those kind of clouds. I just think it's a nice idea, but it's going to be a long time before we have it the way we want it, I think.
Not so long, I think. Yeah, it's I love.
Well, in that case, Steve, you need to get a laptop. You need to get this laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, maybe I do actually. I've just talked myself into it, haven't I?
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. And there's my affiliate link down. Please use it.
I wonder how well it runs Microsoft Flight Simulator though, because do you know the actual difference in performance between the mobile? The laptop 3080 and the desktop.
I think the desktop is way better.
Yeah.
Like way better.
Way
better. Yeah. I think this
I'm gonna have a look.
Yeah. This is I did the Open VR benchmark, and then people can check it out. So yeah, it's
40% slower.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So that's quite a lot.
It's quite a lot. But to be able to bring it anywhere is pretty cool.
I guess as well, just quickly, sorry, Sebastian, I suppose as well, if you plug it in, it can boost that power up as well. If it's running off battery, it's going to run at a lower power mode as well, I would guess.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's great. Some people are always going to want that kind of portability anyway.
I think so.
That kind of stuff.
I think so. Some people are really like on the road all the time, right? And then they might need it.
Yeah. Right, actually, exactly. No, even though what I've just said, one of my good friends, even though it's really weird, he doesn't go anywhere, really. He doesn't go anywhere with it. He always has a gaming laptop over a PC. He's got one in his office, and he has a laptop sat there rather than a PC. I don't understand that thinking, but that's how he likes to do things. Yeah. That's fine. So there are people out there, even if you don't want to go around the world with it or anything.
Right. Skival says, nothing compares to his PC running 3080. Yeah.
3090.
Yeah. 3090. Yeah. 3080 is my PC, right? Wow.
Yeah,
3090. That must be good.
He's looking down on me, his peasant.
Yeah,
Me with
3090
my
crowd.
little 3080. Oh yeah, you've got a 3090 as well.
Oh,
I have,
no.
yeah. It's a beast.
3090 master race here. Very nice. Yeah, portability is the key, says Shoujo. Gary, are you like traveling a lot, or are you mostly in your office there?
Yeah, mainly in the office, and if I do travel, I'll just take the Quest. Honestly,
that makes sense.
It'll only be for a few days, and if I'm traveling, it's for a reason. So I won't have a lot of time anyway, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it will always just be the Quest for me if I'm traveling.
Yeah,
I'm not allowed to
sense.
take my Quest to Ireland. I've been told I'm not allowed to. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course. So you're going with your girlfriend, right?
Yeah. And I actually said to her today, I was like, do you know what? I might just take the Quest with me. And you should have seen the look I got. Oh my God. I was like, I was just joking. I've never done that before. I've never taken any form of gaming device with me on holiday. And it's kind of thing I would never usually do really. But because I know I can, I kind of want to. Even if I just use it for like 10 minutes or something, just to go, oh my God, I'm in a hotel room. And I'm, using a...
It's exactly it. That is exactly it. Because I've done the same thing. It's like you go on holiday, you see all the sites, and you want to enjoy the sights of being away. Why would you then want to immerse yourself in this, which you can do any time at home anyway? But you do it for the novelty. You do it. For
That's all it is, really. So I might still like. It's so small. I could just sneak it in the top box or something. I'm sure she wouldn't notice.
Yeah, but also on my last trip when I was going around Germany in the caravan, I also brought my Quest with me because I thought like, yeah, cool, probably in the evening I'm going to be there with my Quest. But then no, not at all. I was like, I don't know, doing other things, and yeah, makes sense.
We did do a couple of YouTube videos though from your caravan.
Yeah, right. Because I get HTC sent me the Focus 3 to my holiday, and then I made a video there about it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, right. That was pretty cool. Yep, right. Anyways, then I did another video which was all about the Horizon Workrooms, right? Oh, wow. I was so fascinated by this app. We're going to talk about it later. And Steve, you watched my video, right?
No, I'm just laughing because my girlfriend, she's actually just listened to everything I've just said. So I've been found out. That's it now.
That's it.
Oh, wow. Your girlfriend is watching these shows. That's good. Like my wife, she's not watching even a single video. She's absolutely not interested in here.
She's a star, isn't she? She's like huge.
She's a way more successful YouTuber than I am. Like a week ago or so, she made a video about drinking bubble tea. This Taiwanese bubble teas. And then, after like a couple of days, 150,000 views. She's just drinking bubble teas.
I'm gonna try that.
Like, oh my goodness! I'm investing so much time into these videos. 500 views.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay. I'm happy that she's so successful. So I can buy beers with her money. It's amazing.
That's fair. Fair.
That's totally fair. All right. Okay, cool. That was my week. Yeah, very good. So now let's talk about our Facebook topics. Shoujo says, only because she's cute. Yeah, she's definitely cuter than me. That makes so much sense. So now let's talk about the topics. So the topics today are only Facebook. We have got 3 topics. Probably not going to talk like so long about it. I'm not sure. I have no idea. So let's see how it goes. Let's just go with the flow. But probably this is not going to be a 2-hour show today. Let's see. Perhaps, who knows? So let's start with this topic here. And wait, here it is. So Facebook Connect. Facebook Connect will be held online on October 28th. So it's the second time it's going to be held online. Before it was called Oculus Connect. Since last year's it's called Facebook Connect. And this show is all about the new XR stuff that is coming out of the Facebook labs, the Facebook Reality Labs. And normally they do like to use these shows for some major announcements. So last year they had an amazing show, and I can still remember how great it was. And in this show, they introduced the Oculus Quest 2 and all the cool gear that you could get with it, like the Elite Strap and how cool everything was. And I must say, I really, really loved last year's show. And they simply showed how good they are with all these things. Because then with launches in general, because a couple of weeks later, you could actually get the Quest 2. I think most people got it. And they had a fantastic launch. So who knows what's going to happen this year? And that's what I want to speculate a bit with you guys. So what do you think? Do you think that on this Facebook Connect, Facebook is going to have something exciting up their sleeves? Do you believe that they're going to come up with a big new hardware announcement? Gary, let's start with you. What do you think? Are they having something big that they're going to announce?
Well, of the things that they possibly could announce, we know that there is probably a Quest Pro coming, Quest 2 Pro coming, but we don't know whether that will be announced here or whether that will be a little bit later on. It's possible that they could announce it for release next year or something like that, early next year perhaps. You see, the thing is as well, I don't know, like last year, I wasn't expecting a Quest 2 last year. I wasn't expecting that to be announced because it was such a short period of time between the original Quest launch and then the Quest 2.
That was strange.
It was. But then again, I love my Quest 2 and I think it is a decent upgrade over the original Quest in some ways at least. And a lot of the features are now coming to Quest 2, if not exclusively, then first at the very least. So I don't want to rule out the fact that they could potentially announce a Quest Pro. It would still be strange, but having said that, this is a product that would sort of be released alongside existing Quest 2 as well. So from that point of view, the fact the Quest 2 has only been out a year is almost irrelevant when they announce the Quest Pro because that will just go alongside their current products anyway. I would imagine the Quest Pro will just be a higher end, a more expensive version with extra features. So it's possible, although if I'm predicting, I don't think that is what they will announce this time. The other thing is the possible smart glasses that they've mentioned before.
Oh, right, exactly. They said it's going to come out in the end of this year.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if that's... I don't remember if that's...
I remember that. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that's the other possibility. I think if that's true, then they've got to announce them and give at least some details on them and that kind of stuff. That's interesting. The other just final prediction that I would make is, here's the prediction that I want more than anything else, and that is content for the Quest 2, which has depth. I'm getting a little bit tired of 80 to 90% of stuff that's coming out on the Quest 2, short arcadey bursts of games.
Totally agree.
I want depth and I want bigger titles to be announced on that front.
Absolutely.
And somebody mentioned Resident Evil 4. That will probably be a good guess. But I want
Assassin's Creed, hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So we might get more information on those titles as well. Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell. But yeah, those kinds of things. That's the one thing that I really want. Rather than hardware this year, although I'll be interested in the smart glasses, it's the content for the Quest 2.
Okay, right. So, Steve, what are your thoughts? Do you think they will blow us away like last year? Or
I think they're going to resurrect the Rift. It's going to be a Rift 3 with 170 degrees field of view, OLED 4K. No, sorry. I agree with Gary, actually. In fact, AR is going to be the next thing for them, isn't it? In terms of their sort of development, particularly with like AR glasses or something that's going to be, they're going to sell loads of those. I can just imagine how they're going to be like the next thing, because like everyone's got these smartwatches at the moment. They're these Apple smartwatches. It's going to be like that. Everyone's going to be going around using those. So it would make sense for them to, show something like that. But I do feel that, I don't know, a Quest Pro or maybe some sort of like sporty version, like a Quest, like gym edition or something. I don't know, something along the lines of the Quest 2, but like a more of an upgrade option. I can see them doing something like that. But I really hope, like Gary said as well, that I am getting a bit fed up as well. I mean, I've been enjoying Sniper Elite recently on the Quest, but I mean, I really want that really full fat game that's exclusive to the Quest 2, especially now it's been, how long has it been out now? Over a year. We need those exclusive titles, and I appreciate it takes a long time for them to develop something like that, specifically for the XR2 chipset, but we can see what it can do. It's actually quite a remarkable, powerful headset, and I do feel something like Assassin's Creed. Don't know how they're going to do that, actually. I'll be very intrigued to see how they go about such an open world like that. I don't think it will be anywhere near what the PC experience would be, but something along those lines where we've got these little areas where we can just, kind of be like a sandbox type experience. That's what we need right now, I think. But that's what I'd really like is some sort of PC VR headset announcement, but obviously that's not going to happen.
You're not going to get it.
But even maybe a Quest Pro with a display port, something so I can actually use it as a native VR headset. I know, I'm dreaming now.
It's not happening. We're going away. They're going definitely away from PC. It doesn't make sense for them to do something like this. All right, okay.
I can dream.
Yeah, of course. I understand. Yeah, well, I also think they are going to talk about their Ray-Ban smart glasses. They're not going to be full-featured AR headsets, so nothing like the Magic Leap. Yeah. And I think that makes sense, because if you want to do something like Magic Leap, it's not going to be sleek, and the technology is still not there, as we've seen, right? There's simply not enough FOV, and it simply doesn't look good enough to have that dream AR glasses that we're talking about. But I do think like a very cool Ray-Ban headset that looks good and that people might want to wear outside, which gives us notifications and which puts like the food in the door for what's going to come in AR. That makes so much sense. And they did say they're going to launch this in the end of this year. So it makes sense that they're going to talk about it now on the Connect, and then probably it's going to happen in the holiday season of this year. So this is something that I'm also obviously interested in, and see if the mass market would adopt this kind of AR glasses, which are light.
I think they would.
Yeah, I think so too, which are like not intrusive, as in they don't have any cameras, so you're not going to be the glass hole that you wear when you're running around with the Google Glass. Something that will simply give you some information, where you don't have to pull out your phone. Something that will simply say, okay, I don't know, turn right now, if you have like Google Maps running or something, just showing you quickly your notifications.
I think it will be the watch, what the watch can do.
Yep.
For example,
your
face. I think that's the first iteration.
In fact, I just thought of something really cool. I would buy one if there was a way of connecting it up. So, when I'm on my motorbike, I could wear these glasses and I have like a heads-up display of my speed and everything. That would be amazing.
Exactly this.
I would buy
this
for that.
Happen.
Yeah,
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah. And then most probably it's wirelessly connected to your phone, not with a wire like the Unreal, which it's going to make it really cool, honestly speaking. So,
did you see the Snap glasses, the spectacles? Because they're doing something actual AR-esque with some of their stuff as well. That has to be tethered to mobile phone, I believe, the more advanced version at least. Right. But it's interesting that companies are going in that direction. I think that Facebook will be more or less like the current version of what Snap are doing with their smart glasses, effectively. Very similar to what you're describing there, Sebastian, with sort of notification-based stuff, really. Right.
I think that makes the most sense right now. Like, to slowly get the masses to understand what this can do for you. Right? Rather than to try to make everything like Magic Leap tried and failed miserably, right? Yeah. But rather like slowly get there and like introduce the masses to wearing some headset, which will give you some ideas about how the future will be. So I believe that we're going to see this device for the first time on that Facebook Connect. And about the Quest Pro, well, it's not going to appear this year, but probably they will talk about it somehow. like give us an idea about where they're going with the Quest line. So when we talked with Stan from Lynx, he also talked about what he thinks, what they're going to do. And he said, in his opinion, they're going to show the Quest Pro, which has color pass-through. And in my opinion, it makes so much sense since now they're starting with that pass-through, right? Like, for example, in Horizon Workrooms. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That pass-through, that
was
table,
cool. I
the
saw
table
that.
pass-through is so cool. And you couldn't even see that in my stream because it doesn't stream what I saw there, right? But it's good. It's so good. And to have that kind of thing in color, I believe it makes so much sense for that Quest 2 Pro, right? This is really the thing that where they could put like 2 extra cameras here, which are colored and which simply give you that perfect pass-through for all the AR things that this already can do to show us in which direction we're going to go. And probably they're going to give us a peek about that. And probably, we'll find out what the next Quest can do, the Quest 2 Pro. And probably we will have that device sometime next year. Who knows? Probably in April. Probably could happen. So I think this Facebook Connect is going to be really interesting. Like all the time. I think they really know how to wow us, right? Facebook is really a company who is perfect at these kind of shows. And I'm personally looking forward to that show.
I was about to actually say, if, with these glasses, it's going to connect to your phone, in which case it will be running through the Facebook app, do you think? In which case, these glasses will be incredibly competitive. They've learned so much about the Quest 2 and how popular it's been because of the way they've marketed it. They're going to do the same with these glasses, surely. It's going to be the same kind of thing. You'll have to log in with Facebook on your phone.
Suck.
I just got a feeling they're going to go down that route, but because of that, they're going to be really, really good price, like £250 or something. I don't know, whatever.
That part I'm not sure, honestly speaking, because they know how much backlash they got with that Facebook login, and I do think they also realized that this was not the smartest move.
I don't know.
No,
I think they will.
I don't think they care. I don't think they care.
I don't think
you don't think they care about MRTV videos, like being really angry?
I think
you need to get more angrier, I think.
These glasses, I wonder if, because they probably won't be branded with Oculus, they'll be purely branded with Facebook.
Okay.
I personally think. But I don't know if they'll use... I mean, it makes sense for them to use the Facebook app in that case. I didn't know if they would provide yet another app to run these smart glasses separately. But I think either way they're going to want people to log in with Facebook. And
of course they want us to do that.
And I don't think they'll stop doing that. I think if they stop doing it, it would look like a reverse, and there's no way they want to have that kind of impression.
But what kind of extra functionality would that Facebook login give you? Like
Facebook Messenger notifications and things like that, and
it fits perfectly, doesn't it? Really, in fact, if anything, it's more likely to be in glasses like that connected to your phone than the Quest. If it was the other way around, it'd be more unlikely for a VR headset to have that login. So, being that there's no doubt in my mind, it's glasses you're going to wear specifically for messages and social media purposely.
And they'll have a camera on there. You'll take a photo and it'll upload it straight to your Facebook page and this kind of stuff as well. If you want to do that, it would be. I don't think
it's going to have a camera. I really don't think so.
I think it will, and I'll be amazed if it doesn't. Because even Snap have their cameras, because I think it's going to be an integral part, because if they don't have the camera now, when they bring a camera in later on, it's going to throw up all of these other concerns. By adding a camera in straight from the start, these glasses need a camera, that's the way it is, then I think they can get in on the ground floor by having cameras in there, personally. But I don't think it necessarily needs one, but I think it will add an extra layer of functionality in there as well.
It would have more functionality, but, there would be lots of other questions concerning privacy, right? Yeah, but we know they don't care, and they just try to force in their way.
They don't care, and also the Quest has cameras already, so they'll just say, Quest needs it, these need it.
You're right, but for the Quest, you're using it at home. But for these, they want us to wear them everywhere, right?
They do, and that's a good point. But they can also have the use case of Snap, which have had these glasses out for years, which have cameras on from the very beginning. They've always had these cameras on, these Snap smart glasses, from the very first version. So of course it does, because that's their main use.
Yeah.
And I don't think Facebook would want to release a product that doesn't have that functionality, in spite of everybody's privacy concerns around Facebook. I think it's going to be essential for what they want to do with that headset.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see. And well, Fantas says, well, people in general don't care about privacy.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
people don't.
In Germany, I would not agree. In Germany, we really care about these kind of things. So
I take I say privacy here, but I take it very seriously. But I don't take it seriously if I'm on the internet, because it's
but there you should take it very seriously.
Well, no, because it's you could get hacked. You could get it's a social media platform. It's just a million possibilities, a way of my data being shown somewhere. So I just think it's just the world we live in. I kind of, maybe I shouldn't, but I kind of accept it as a way of being when I'm on the internet or online in some capacity. But privacy, if I keep it away from the internet, keep it away from any other way of media in that respect for me. So, well, having said that, though, I don't really like login Facebook thing. I mean, no one does, but I really think that it's here to stay. I really do, and it's
Depends.
Yeah.
That's a great way now to talk about the next topic. And the next topic is that the FTC is suing Facebook again. So let's dig into this story here. After having its antitrust case against Facebook rejected by a judge earlier this year, the FTC has chosen to continue pursuing the case by filing an amended complaint, which it says includes additional data and evidence to support allegations of Facebook wielding illegal monopoly power. The amended complaint bolsters the FTC's monopoly power allegations by providing detailed statistics showing that Facebook had dominant market shares in the US personal social networking market. So this is now the difference. For the first time that the FTC tried to sue Facebook, they actually didn't narrow it down to that personal social networking market. And because they didn't, Facebook simply said hey, there are other companies that who are very successful, like Twitter and TikTok and LinkedIn, right? So actually, you can make the case that we are a monopoly. But now the FTC is narrowing it down on personal social networking market, right? Like your friends that you communicate with. And actually, for the first time now, in that complaint by the FTC, they also mention the metaverse, and that in the future and the future technologies, they also mention it, that Facebook might also have that monopoly in that personal social networking. And well, with Horizon, probably we will get into this as well. So now they're trying it for the second time, and now their complaint is double as long as the first time. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this time, what's going to be the outcome of this. And well, before we had the show, Gary and me found out that we are not really, we don't really understand the details of these kind of things.
Yeah.
But Gary, simply tell us, what are your thoughts, your feelings?
Yeah.
Even though, right.
I'm not, because I'm not a legal guy. I don't know, especially with US law. I mean, that's even further removed from what I understand. But so RG just commented, saying suing doesn't mean regulating; it means getting a taste of the action. So that's the thing. Presumably, even if they do sue Facebook and they win, then it goes further beyond that to what they have to do in terms of regulating, separating up different parts of their company. I think that's what they're really trying to do, isn't it? They're trying to separate Instagram out,
right, exactly.
WhatsApp.
right.
into separate companies. It doesn't include Oculus because presumably Oculus is too small a part of their company at the moment, and it's all tied in with Facebook Reality Labs and that kind of stuff. But so to me, this is so they're going for this again, and they're trying to do the same thing that they tried before. And the question that I guess I would come back to is, do I consider Facebook to be a monopoly? And in terms of social media, I'm not sure necessarily I'd consider them a monopoly, but they certainly have anti-competitive practices, in my opinion. And just bringing it right back to VR, the anti-competitive practice, a pro-consumer practice, is the Quest 2 as a case in point. The Quest 2, they are losing money by most people's accounts. As far as we know, it's pretty safe to say that they are losing money on every unit that's sold.
Absolutely.
They are subsidizing it. And by doing that, it's pro-consumer. However, it's anti-competitive because there are only a few companies in the world that could take a hit like that. And so, in my opinion, that's an anti-competitive move. But, I'm in two minds about this because I guess I don't know enough about the legal side of it.
Yeah.
To me, that's an anti-competitive move. But fine, I'm a consumer. I don't.
But Gary, I agree with everything you said. But if you see it on the long run, I don't really think it's pro-consumer. So right now, if you look on the short term, yes, okay, amazing. It's super nice. We can get this device for $299. But if you think about it, it's also not so pro-consumer because, first of all, they get their way with forcing you to log in with your Facebook account, which will come with other things that you probably don't want, right? And there is actually no real competition because they drive out the competition. There is no HTC who can offer a device for this kind of price. And now, well, you are stuck to this device. And yes, it's great. That is the good thing, right? But they forced you to use your Facebook login, which probably you would not do if there was a competing device which can do the same things. So yeah, on the short run, I agree with you. It's cool. It feels good, and we humans, we like the satisfaction in the short term, right?
Yeah,
but if you look at if you really look on the long run, I don't think it's good.
No, absolutely right. Yeah, I mean the privacy thing is, of course, it's the by forcing you to log in order to use these products in the first place. It's the same thing that we've discussed many times before.
Right.
And they are subsidizing it based on the fact that they know that they're going to get your data, which they can then sell on to or use to sell products to advertisers and things like this. So it's all of this kind of stuff. Steve, what are your thoughts on this? Let's go over to you.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, what do you think about that?
Well, I didn't even know about this. So I'm kind of listening to it as it happens. I'm just, I wasn't sure. I didn't know this was happening, but
you're the fashion guy. Wing it.
But I am winging it now. But I'm just thinking, I had this vision, those corner shops as a kid, those amazing corner shops, those sweet shops and everything, those little places that you go in and get your bread and your bakery stuff and that, and then a massive Tesco's plonks in the middle of it, and then just everything dies and it saps all of those businesses up. It kind of reminds me a little bit like that in that situation. And
right, exactly.
I feel like Facebook are just pushing those boundaries because they can. They've got the best lawyers. They've got, such a powerful position right now that they're just pushing it as far as they can and seeing what they can get away with. But it is quite scary. And that's all I was thinking as she was talking, really. But I'm kind of still getting my head around it, really. But as I say, it's a complex kind of an issue, really.
It is complex. And I'm not a legal guy, and I don't know all the intricacies of this, and I've not got time to go look into it all, to be honest. But the thing is, when you hear these cases, I don't think there's been any major, huge company that hasn't had this taken against them before anyway. Like Microsoft have had anti-competitive behavior cases against them.
Yeah,
Apple, I'm sure Apple must have done that. Apple have as well. So Facebook's just the next in a long line, and I don't see it as being any different. And on this article on Road to VR, it says that there will be sort of long-term repercussions for sort of VR and things like that. And I'm just not necessarily certain that's the case, because even if they split out Facebook, what will that mean to the end consumer? To me, the data will still be collected in the same way. The privacy will still be collected. They can still, I mean, the anti-competitive practices, if they are deemed to be anti-competitive, will have to be reined in, presumably. But I mean, there's only so much that they can do, even if they split out these companies.
Well, if in the future, like Oculus would be split out from Facebook, then this would have like big consequences, because you would not log in with your Facebook account anymore, and well, it would be a whole different business model that Facebook would have to build.
Yeah,
they couldn't simply use this one.
If Oculus get
You're right.
separated as well, that's the other. I think even if that happens, that will be years away.
You're right.
Years away.
Agreed.
You know, they made £70 billion in profit last year.
Slightly more than MRTV.
It's quite a lot, that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, but I do think that these things could have consequences. Like here in Germany, where we have very strict laws about privacy, well, Facebook cannot sell their Quest 2. Well, it seems like they don't give a fuck about it, since the Germans can still buy it from France or from the UK or what. But, well, in Germany, we're going to have that big lawsuit sometime in the future. And if it's bad for Facebook, probably other European countries will pick that up. And then Facebook is really in trouble, because Germany might not be the biggest market. Well, it is a huge market. But if whole Europe goes away, and then also they lose the case in the US, this could be like very serious. So, yeah. In my opinion, I still hope that they don't get away with simply forcing that Facebook login upon us, for example. That is one thing. I really still hope that something could be done about it, and that they just don't get away with the things they just do. You know, like Facebook, they simply try. They are like very bold about their actions. They take bold actions, but not always in the best interest of us, the users, but in their best interest, obviously, right? Makes sense.
Yeah,
it's so hard. Isn't it?
So I truly hope that the regulations, if they are being like violated, that actually the governments would take action and not allow them to do it, and not let them get through with it. And I must tell you, honestly, I love it that the German government is standing up against these things. And that's just like this, I believe that things could get better. Because if Facebook simply got their way, they would simply do whatever they want, and they would bring us into a VR future that I personally don't like. I don't want our VR future to be Facebook reality. So I really hope that some things could change. I hope for a virtual reality market in the future where there's more competition, where Facebook does not have that full power, where they can simply drive out competition. And we did see these kind of cases where companies are either completely copied and then driven out. Like we had that case with that Your Fitness, for example. Live, for example, right? Where the competition is simply copied one-to-one and then driven out. Or, for example, Big Screen, they have a hard time to exist on Facebook, right? Because they sell tickets for movies, and Facebook has this advantage. Like they simply get this Facebook charge of 30% on top of everything. And when they offer their own movie rentals, they don't have to pay that, for example.
Yeah, it's this is exactly the same thing that Apple have been dealing with for years as well. So Facebook, I mean, in some ways, Facebook sort of model themselves on Apple in a certain way.
They do.
And
look at the Quest 2. It looks like an Apple device.
Yeah, all the packaging.
It's kind of beautiful here.
It does.
It's everything. And like Apple, for example, so you can't purchase certain things on Amazon directly on the Amazon app on Apple. You have to go through the browser and all of these things. And it's exactly the same thing. Like on Big Screen on the Quest 2, I believe that if you purchase the tickets from a website, then you can they don't have to pay that 30%. But most people, of course, don't go through that extra hoop.
Right.
And I might be wrong on that. I just assume that to be the case. But that's the same thing, really. But you know what I'm saying. It's that kind of. It's this thing that affects these big companies that just hold a significant part of the market, and it's always going to be that case, in my opinion. And just finally, as well, just to wrap up my thoughts on this, with regards to the privacy, what you were talking about there, Sebastian, it marks a slippery slope by letting them get away with certain things by pushing the boundaries to the very limit constantly in terms of privacy, data collection, and this kind of stuff. It might be fine now, and it might not affect most people now, but we don't know what is going to happen in the future, especially in the direction that this technology is going. We need to. I mean, I'm on board with the side of reining Facebook in as much as the next person, and especially when it comes to this ludicrous amount of data collection, and they don't disclose exactly what this data is going to be used for in future iterations of this technology, and that's what needs to be stopped. Not necessarily whether I'm playing Beat Saber or watching porn in my Quest. I don't care if they know about that right now, but what could they do with that data in the future? You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
I think for me, like, this is anonymous data, isn't it? At the end of the day, so
it's not anonymous.
Is it?
Because
or is
you logged in with your Facebook account. They totally know what you've been doing, and they use the data to sell ads, right? I mean,
if I was really bored one day and I wanted to know exactly what that data is there somewhere? I'm sure Facebook has some sort of policy where it outlines everything and how they collect their data. There's got to be in this GDPR world we live in.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine they've got to. If you request that, they have to disclose the data.
Free. What do you call it? Data exclosure, whatever you call it. But
it's got. I would imagine they've got to have that because that would be illegal. If surely it would be, wouldn't it? Again, I'm not a legal guy.
It's got to be. But I just But for me, where is the line? For like, I can accept. It's why I've got my Quest right here. I'm looking at it now because I've just spilled beer all over it, so hopefully it'll be all right. But like, for me, the line is adverts, and then it's not just because
it's going to happen, of course,
because it happens on my phone all the time. You know, I talk
of course
about
it's going to happen. There's no question about it.
Now that's fine, but when I'm playing a game, as I think we mentioned last week,
right,
and they're monitoring how long I spend staring at a certain sign or something like that, and it's distracting me from the actual gameplay. That to me is this last straw for me, because it's all about, for me, immersion. That's and being immersed in VR. I'm not so bothered about this possibly anonymous data, not quite sure now, but it's the ads for me, and they are pushing for that. Like you say, Gary, and they are pushing, they're prodding, they're trying to see how far they can go, because they have the lawyers, they have the power, and Steve, that is concerning.
Let me tell you how it's going to be. Right now, the whole ad thing is already so good, right? You look for something online, you look for I don't know what you're looking for, something exciting, and then suddenly everything is full of ads for that thing.
Yeah,
right. It's
even if I'm talking about it now, my phone's listening to me.
That's the thing. We are not so sure about if really our phone is listening. We sometimes have the feeling. I still don't think it is.
They say it's not.
That would be too crazy.
I
don't think. Let me tell you one thing. We're not so sure about this right now, right? But we have all these assistants, Google Alexa, and we're not so sure. Do they listen to this in order to serve us ads? Perhaps they do, perhaps not, but we're not sure. But let me tell you one thing. When we are in Facebook Horizon in the future with our friends talking about stuff, then for sure they're going to use our spoken words in order to serve us the ads that we're talking about, that we're interested in. So that's the big next thing. They will have everything because, of course, our spoken word will go through to Facebook, and we have all clicked on the Oculus terms and conditions that we're totally fine with whatever we do inside the thing being used for ads. And that is how Facebook Horizon is going to make lots of money, because they will know what we want and our personal conversations. They are not so private anymore in Facebook Horizon. So that is going to be the huge thing. So next time when you are in Facebook Horizon and when you talk with your friends about, wow, you really want to buy that new laptop, wow, your Facebook is going to be full of laptop advertisements. And it's not like, okay, probably your phone is listening in. No, you have said, I'm fine with Facebook doing these things. So this is the huge thing about you being in VR. All of your movements are being recorded and your voice is being recorded too. So that is how our future is going to be in Facebook Horizon. I'm sure about that.
You see,
I'm just checking my phone to see if I've got any messages about VR headsets or anything.
I mean, the ads thing is one side of this as well. And we can talk about ads because that's where we see it most directly at the moment. And along with most other people, I don't want ads in games that I've paid for to subsidize other types of games and free games, of course. This has been said time and again. I'm sort of okay with it to certain types of games, free games and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's okay.
If it's free on mobile phones, yeah. I mean, and it's the way of monetizing something that people don't want to pay for, so that's okay. The other thing with regards to this that sometimes gets ignored is the biometric data, which is they can utilize this in the future for things that we don't know. So they are collecting this data, and it's how long they are able to keep this data. And if you read the Facebook terms of service and terms and conditions and stuff, you will see that they don't disclose, at least not directly of what I've read. And I've read through the whole lot, but there is only, I think there are extra things that you can read on top of this because they give examples of how long they can keep certain types of data. They won't say explicitly all the types of data that they are keeping unless that's in a separate document that I've yet to see. But they give examples. So they'll say, we'll keep certain biometric data, whatever, with regards to this for example, 6 months. They don't say they will actually delete it after that period of time. They just give an example that they probably will keep it for that period of time, and that's it. But they don't give any definitive lines on this. And the point I'm making as well is about how this biometric data and things that say stuff about you as a person that we are not even aware of ourselves, how that can be used in by future technologies and this kind of stuff. And if they've still got that data that they are collecting today, then that's the issue as well. And this is what I mean by a slippery slope. The ads stuff, I understand that ads need to exist. The internet wouldn't exist without ads. So fair play. I've got no qualms about ads existing and operating in that way. Agreed. And if I'm getting fed more relevant ads to me in certain cases, then so be it. There is this underlying feeling though that there is more to it than just that, and that's the tinfoil hat comment there.
Yeah, no, but I like it though. I like that though. And then, Colin says, then you might find a laptop you like. So I also agree. I'm not against ads, just like Gary. For me personally, it is just, and I've mentioned that on the show several times, for me, it's the feeling. For me, the feeling in virtual reality changes. Right now, I can go into VR, I can do my things, and I don't feel I'm being watched all the time. But if I know, like, in the Quest 2, like all of my movements, all of wherever I look at, of my gazes are being like analyzed by Facebook. I don't have the same feeling in virtual reality anymore. And also, like if I'm later in Facebook Horizon and I say certain things to my friends and I know, okay, Mark is listening in now, not Mark himself, hopefully, but the analytic engines are listening in order to analyze me more and what I like and what I don't like. I don't have the same feeling in VR anymore. It would simply be as if here, if I invite my friends over and we have a great time, and there would be a camera looking at me all the time, I wouldn't feel as free to talk about everything, right? And that for me changes things in VR, and that is the Facebook reality that I don't want. I want to be in VR and feel that I could go and meet somebody in private.
Yeah. I'm sorry. When you're saying all this, Seb, you've got your Quest there. We're looking at you. It's making me hilarious.
You're right. But it's not turned on, and I'm streaming this to the public, so it's fine.
It's not turned on, or is it?
Yeah, you don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But So somebody commented, NV1790 said, "Are we still talking about lawsuits? Or are we talking about something else?" And that's a good point, because we were talking about lawsuits.
Yeah.
All roads lead to Facebook privacy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because
it's
it is
related.
about that.
It is related.
Yeah,
it is also related.
Yeah.
It is related. Yeah, right. So that's a very interesting topic, and well, we'll see that topic play out when eye tracking is coming to the next Quest, which it is going to happen.
That's a bit worrying, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is worrying.
I'll go totally crazy upon that.
Yeah, I won't start that one off.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, right. But we're going to go now to our next topic. And the next topic is the following. It's Horizon Workrooms. Wow, and that was a very big surprise. And well, Facebook has done it again. They have surprised us all because suddenly it was there. They simply introduced it and said, you know what? Here is Horizon Workrooms. It's remote collaboration reimagined, and you can use it right now. And I was like, what? Even in Germany? And I tried it, and it works perfectly in Germany. So what is Horizon Workrooms? It is an app on your Quest 2 that allows you to meet your working colleagues or your friends or whatever, and it allows you to work together. It allows you to do lots of cool things. Let's check out the product overview. It allows you to bring your desk, computer, and keyboard into VR with you. So how that works, and let me play the trailer of that. Wait a moment, let me find it for a moment. Here it is, here it should be. So yep, here it is. Can you still hear me? I hope so. Okay. Great. So yeah, you can bring in your desk like this. So you simply would use your controller to scan your desk, and then the desk is in VR, which is pretty amazing. And well, you can talk with all your working colleagues, and the working colleagues appear as the Oculus avatars, which, by the way, are incredible. And you can hold your presentation. You can bring in your keyboard, just like you see here right now. You can bring in your desk, as I mentioned in the beginning, and you can bring in also your computer, your actual desktop, and you can share it with your colleagues in order to hold PowerPoint presentations. You can stand in front of the blackboard. You can draw something with your controller as if it was like a marker. It's honestly speaking simply amazing, in my opinion. And for all the colleagues that don't have a Quest 2, they can simply join that room via their webcam. So it would simply look as if you are in that meeting room and some people are connected with their webcams. You would see them on that virtual screen, and they could simply join the discussion. And those people who are not in their Quest, they would see it on their screen. They would see that virtual office on their screen, just as if they would be in that video conference. Pretty amazing stuff. And Gary, you've tried it out. What are your first thoughts when you tried it out?
Yeah, so I tried it out quickly, and it was so I went in there on my own. So there's sort of limited things that you can get an idea of, but you can try pretty much everything when you're in there on your own anyway. And it's fantastic. It's a great thing to have, and it's just a shame they couldn't get this. They didn't have something like this out at the beginning of the pandemic, because this would have definitely been a big deal then. It's a big deal now though, so I think it's a great thing to have. The only thing I'd say is that this is going to work specifically well for certain types of companies. And of course, they've got to be like tech savvy companies. The exclusions that you made there, Sebastian, people that don't have a Quest 2 or something like that can appear on a video feed. All I'll say is that, like, looking at these, so you've got the Facebook avatars, which are fine. They're okay. They're sort of very generic and very cartoony and this kind of stuff. And I think sometimes if you've been in meetings in a workplace and things can get, you've got pressure involved. You've got certain deadlines, and you've got to get, tempers can get frayed, and you're looking at somebody across the table that looks like a cartoon.
A weeble wobble, as Anthony would say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then it's gonna have a little bit of disconnect for some people, and I think that's going to be an issue. But that's taking nothing away from it, because I think there will be certain companies and certain organisations that can get something out of this. And when I went in there, the big thing that I've seen a lot of people mention is how you can turn the Quest controller over, hold it like this, and hold it like a marker pen, and then you can draw in front of you. And it's got full hand tracking as well, by the way. So it's really designed for being a hand tracking kind of experience. But you can use your Quest controller, draw shapes, and it appears on the board. It's just a nice little novelty, but it works so well, and it would come in really handy for certain meetings. So I think I think it's great. It's a great little app, which I'm surprised hasn't been around for longer. Right.
What are your thoughts, Steve, about that?
Yeah, well,
would you use something like that?
Well, first of all, I'm gutted because I really wanted to try it before the show, but I just ran out of time. But I'm going to try it once we've finished, because I watched your video, Seb. I was getting ready and having me tea and watching it on the big TV, and I thought, actually, this looks really amazing. The way that they've designed it. It looks very simple, very easy to use, and that's something very important, because a lot of businesses, they're not going to be tech savvy. I do wonder, though, who is going to use this? I'm sure plenty of companies probably will, but I think, I don't know, I can't see it being something that's just going to be a huge game changer, even though the software itself is. I think it's brilliant. The way that you can use your keyboard, because previously you'd have to buy a separate keyboard so that it can work in VR and be tracked. But now you've got it today.
This is this is the Magic Keyboard from Apple, because this is being tracked. So I bought it today.
Did you buy it
just to try it out?
To try it. Wow, they're expensive, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're expensive. But hey,
I'm
dedication
for everything. Yeah, dedicated to this whole thing.
But I do like that. Peasants like me can use the pass through and use my own keyboard. I'm going to try that because I think that's very, very cool, and does signal the whole pass through upgrade thing. Hopefully, eventually. But I was impressed as well with how it kind of tracked your facial expression, even though there's no actual face tracking, obviously.
It's fantastic.
Because I looked at a bit of your interview as well. I think we could do this in this. I think we should try it. Maybe do a podcast.
I'd love to try it. When I went in and tried it yesterday, I was just thinking, I want somebody to try this with, because that will take it to the next level. It's cool just to try on your own, but you only get a taste.
We three should try it together. And probably
do it.
Even take a little video about it and just show people how it is.
And I can bore you one of my presentations from work or something. Just
I can give you a German presentation.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I liked your presentation on the video. You went, and now we're going to do this presentation, and that was it. I was like, I was going to actually just listen to it then.
Very
cool.
But I tried it with a friend of mine, and it's so good. It's really good. Especially, I was really, just like I said, amazed by those Oculus avatars. So yes, agreed, Gary. They are cartoonish, and they will not work for a lot of situations where some people simply don't feel good using these cartoonish characters, right? But what they have done with these avatars in terms of how the mouth moves,
that's amazing.
It's incredible. I was thinking, okay, you don't even need mouth tracking anymore. It is so good what they did there, just with the pure sound, with the pure audio of when you say something.
Could that be because they've tracked your voice and they know how you speak and everything?
Of course they do it like this.
Basically,
right? So they use some kind of artificial intelligence to make this happen.
But the eyes as well. You see, if you notice, because it uses AI on the eyes, I believe, as well. So they'll lock on to people that you're looking in the general direction of, and they'll lock on. And then even as you turn away, they'll remain locked on until you sort of get onto the next person. So it makes things like that more realistic as well.
Yeah, right. I was in a conference in what was it called? Alt Space. That's it. And I was actually doing a little presentation thing, and then there's this one person just staring right at me like this for ages. But I know they wasn't really staring at me like that, but because obviously the avatar didn't blink, it didn't have any facial expression.
Yeah.
It was just literally right at. It was actually, I could feel it like burning into me. Like, my God! So it's just to have a little bit of variety and just movement of the facial expression, and maybe the eyes and stuff. It's just
Right.
cool.
The hands make a big difference as well. By having
so
hands
good
tracking,
too. Oh, that's so good.
and you can gesture and do all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. That is really cool as
In
well.
presentations, you can say like, "Oh, okay, check here, this out," or "Oh, what does this mean?" Or here, it is so good, and you don't even need to hold your controllers all the time.
No.
This is really like impressive
Yeah,
stuff.
very good.
And with that pass through, when I tried it for the first time, I was truly blown away because I didn't have like a keyboard that is being like recognized already by that AI, right? So there's like 3 keyboards that are already supported, like the Magic Keyboard from Apple that I bought, and like 87 euros, very expensive.
Ouch.
And then. A Logitech K8300, which
K830, I think.
Yeah, which I couldn't buy.
There's not many out there.
I'm just looking at the Apple Magic Keyboards now. So do both work with the the numeric keypad and without as well? Do you know, Sebastian?
That one I don't know. That
No.
one I'm not sure. Yeah,
No,
probably.
I'll have to look into that. I'm just looking
Yeah.
at prices now. They're about £82 for the one without the numeric keypad, because I'd be interested to try this, but I don't know if I'd use it enough to warrant that price, to be honest.
Right, but I heard in general that this keyboard is pretty cool, and I can also use it with my iPad. So yeah, it's okay, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, so when I didn't have that yet, and I tried this pass-through mode, I was simply blown away by how well that works. So only that area where your keyboard resides on your desks, the pass-through is turned on. And even when you look to the side or what, it's being perfectly tracked. And the rest is still the virtual environment. So that pass-through mode works so well. And I was a bit sad that I couldn't show that when I streamed it because the pass-through wasn't shown in my stream. But I should do probably a through the lens or so just to show.
I think
how well
there is a
it
setting
works.
you can enable that, I think, so you can show the pass through.
Okay.
Somewhere.
That would be cool. And I really need to show how great that works. So you can totally work in VR. So the only thing that's holding that back in order for me to really work in VR is still the resolution of the Quest 2 is not high enough to do that. On the Vario VR3, I could do that, but then it's like a huge thing on my head. And also, it would be great if there were like the option to give me more than one screen, because I do like to work on 2 screens, and this kind of functionality is not there now. But I believe in the future they will do that, and it's only going to be better. So for the very first version that they just dropped on us, they did such an amazing job. Really, it's pretty amazing. Well done. I must really say well done.
I think it's probably been inspired by
Oh, yeah.
lockdowns and things. Absolutely. And I'd imagine it would have taken a long time for them because it looks very polished. I mean, I haven't tried it myself yet, but
It is
the
super
whole thing
polished.
looks very, very well done.
I would imagine though, it's got to be something that they have at least thoughts of working on before. It must have been
I
in
think so.
development from before, even before the pandemic and that kind of stuff, because it's such an obvious use case for
Exactly.
VR that's not gaming. This is one of the great ways. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the pandemic has accelerated that, and they wish they could have got this out a year ago. That would have been
Agreed. And, I also think it's a very smart way to introduce their Horizon branding, because this is not Oculus Workrooms, this is Horizon Workrooms. And by this use case, by showing you one use case and making it really like so good, people will directly have a positive image about this Horizon. Right, because the Horizon thing itself, like that huge world that they like showed to us or that they advertised, probably it is not so great. because it takes a long time. It took a long time for them to come out with it, and they even didn't come out with Facebook Horizons yet. Facebook Horizons being that big metaverse where people can make their own worlds and build their own games and these kind of things. They did not yet come out with it, right? And
No,
they
it's
are
a
kind of dragging it out.
closed beta, and I would be interested to see, because I've not got in. Sebastian, I don't think you've got
Me neither.
into the
No.
Horizons closed beta, and Steve. But I'll be interested. But I'll be interested to see if who in chat has got into the Horizons closed beta and what you think of it, because the overwhelming response is that it's not very good. Really,
exactly, it was very negative from people that I spoke to who were in this. They were kind of underwhelmed. And probably that's the reason why they didn't go public with it, because it's simply not good enough. But with this little use case, with this very special use case, what they came up with is pretty amazing. So, yeah, Onikazi is in the closed beta. So tell us, what are your thoughts about it? How is it good? Is it bad? What is good? What is bad? Tell us a bit about it. I would really love to hear your thoughts about that. Now, the other question, of course, is, will companies actually pick this up? And how about the concern that this is coming from Facebook? And for that, I'm always concerned about this question. And I had this on my mind. Like, if I was a company, would I want to use that? Or could I use it here in Germany with all these privacy laws? And then when I signed up for it, I was kind of like feeling good, because the first thing that they show you is like, okay, you can sign up for Workrooms, not with your Facebook account. This is something separate, actually. This is not your Oculus account. This is not your Facebook account. No, this is a Workroom account just for this thing. And when you sign up for it, they show you something, and it's also in their press release. And let me just read this out to you. Safety and privacy in workrooms. When you choose to collaborate with your coworkers in workrooms, you should feel in control of your experience, and we build workrooms with privacy and safety in mind. Workrooms will not use your work conversations and materials to inform ads on Facebook. You see, that's
refreshing.
That's refreshing, yeah. Additionally, pass-through processes images and videos of your physical environment from the device sensors locally. Okay, so all the stuff that your cameras will see, it is only processed on the Quest and not sent to Facebook. Facebook and third-party apps do not access, view, or use these images or videos to target ads. Okay, and I must honestly say, I felt better.
Wow. That's really clear, isn't it?
I really felt better about this clear message. Okay, we're not using these images. They are stored locally. And yeah, make me feel better.
For now, they'll be adding that in an update.
That's Facebook saying that, then, is it, about their software?
Yeah, right. True. But I suspect that they're not lying to me so obviously. I mean, they can't use it if they're specifically saying that they're not using it. Then I would imagine that they can't do that, so they won't lie about it. But I would imagine that this is simply because it's a workplace, it's an enterprise kind of thing, and they've got to make headway in that and compete with similar things from Google. Also
Google
others,
Meet,
spatial, for example. There are other apps like this out there which are great, and I'm going to mention them in a moment again. Right.
Yeah, I just think that they're doing that because they have to. They don't want people companies don't want to have ads launched at them or anything like that. So I think they've got to do that. But it is refreshing. You're absolutely right. It's great that they are putting that in there front and center, and people can make a decision. And that's the transparency that we need on the other side as well.
Yeah,
I think
we
just
really
that level
do.
of transparency.
Right.
It's funny how a paragraph crafted so well and so clear like that can put your mind at ease. And
I was feeling much better. So I even made a video where I was just praising it. I was not even talking about these privacy concerns, which I normally do, but I didn't because I felt better. However, I must also say that in order to use it in VR, you still need your
You'll have
Quest
to.
2, and into that Quest 2, for using that Quest 2, you again need a Facebook account. So if you would really want to use it in that kind of work environment, you would have to tell your employees or your team members
Yeah, I would have a problem with that.
that you need to log in with your Facebook account for that work thingy, which kind of, for me personally, would not make that a viable
No.
solution.
No, you know the enterprise version of the Quest 2. Do you have to
Right.
log in with that with a Facebook account, or is
No,
that
you do
that's
not need
exempt?
to.
You have to
So
pay a
what-
subscription.
That's
Right.
right. Yeah. So what they'd have
Right.
to do is, if a company wanted to implement this, they'd have to pay that subscription and pay a load of
Exactly.
units
Yeah.
and send those out to
Exactly.
not have that linked.
Probably, yeah. That would make sense. In that case, it would make sense, and I think they would work well. Yeah, so that is definitely a problem. And I must again stress something. This whole Workrooms app, this idea is not new. And there are other companies who have been doing that for quite a time and who are doing it in a fantastic way. So I need to point out one that I personally really like a lot. It's called Spatial. They also offer this kind of functionality, and it's great. It's free, and the great thing, and in my opinion, that is the big advantage that Spatial has over Workrooms. It's platform agnostic. So you can use Spatial with your Quest 2 if you want, but if you're not into Facebook and if you're not into logging in with your Facebook account, you can also use Spatial with a Steam VR app. So you can use it with your HTC devices. You can use it with your Valve Index, and you can even use it with your Unreal and with your HoloLens. So that is much better. Yeah.
And Magic Leap, I've just looked it up. So you
Okay,
can use
okay,
this on-
perfect.
So this is what
we can
what
try
we,
that together.
Exactly,
Gary.
that's what we should do. I'll get in my Magic Leap. You can get in your HoloLens too. We'll meet up.
Exactly.
Oh, I feel left out now. I want one now.
Yeah, you can join with your Quest 2 actually, or with
Oh,
your
yeah,
other headsets. So we can meet there in Spatial. So Spatial offers this, but for all headsets, and it's also free. And you can also bring in your desktop, and you are more free actually. You can freely walk around, and you can do all kinds of things. So Spatial is really an amazing app, and Spatial is not so cartoony. For Spatial, you will make your avatar in 5 seconds. Simply, they will take a picture of you with your webcam, and then they model an avatar which really looks like you. However, on the flip side, it doesn't have this great mouth movements that now the Oculus system has. So, yeah, so there are pros and cons. But I must say, other companies had this as well. And for this amazing feature with you using your controller and holding it like a pen, that is not Facebook's idea. That is from another company called WeAre. It's a stupid name. It's really written like We Are, WEARE, a very bad name. Comes from a German company, and they are doing exactly the same thing. It's about collaboration in VR. And they had this first with you turning that controller and riding with the back. And it worked just as good. So this is not Facebook's idea. This is absolutely copied 1-to-1 from that company. And I made this video about the rooms, and like 2 hours later, I got that email from WeAre, from the German company, and they said, "Hey, Sebastian, you know what? We had that since 3 years." And they are totally right. And so again, Facebook is taking the best ideas and they're simply putting it into a great product, which will probably drive out the competition, or at least make it harder for the competition. Or they give awareness and they're going to float all the boats higher. I don't know. Anyways, this is not Facebook's idea. However, what is Facebook's idea is bringing that desk into VR and really riding on that desk. And that part I really loved, and I thought it was amazing when I tried it out. You also tried it, right, Gary?
Yeah, that part is great. And also, the other thing that they encourage you to do is actually sit at your real life desk.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
really good, yes.
You
Really.
map out your real desk, and then it's
love that.
one-to-one with the one that's in VR. And that just adds another layer, because it's mainly hand tracking as well. it adds another layer. You know that when you place your hands in VR and you can see your hands in VR and they're right on the edge of your desk, you know that they're going to be placed in the same way in real life and touching your actual desk. It adds this extra little dimension to it as well. So I really like that. And I think to operate this, that was one of the things. Like, I feel like I'm sat at my real desk and I'm in VR at this other desk. And if somebody else was opposite me on that table, that would be fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. So I think they have really nailed it, right? So other apps like Spatial, they even have more functionality, and also this Workrooms, they also have more functionality, like in bringing in 3D models. And in Spatial, it's so well done. I can simply say, look into the internet and search for pics and 3D models, and I can simply bring them in. Like, for example, I can look for a smartphone model, and then boom, it's there, and I can talk about it. Very nice. People should also try out Spatial. It is available on the app, on the Quest store for free. Simply check it out as well and see which one you like better. And there's even more. Like, there's another app called Immersed. They also allow you to bring in your keyboard, actually, even any keyboard. There's another app called Glue, which also is really good. But yeah, well, Facebook simply has the power to market it much better. And they do have this kind of advantage as well to do something that others cannot do because they own the platform. For example, this pass-through. The pass-through that only has your keyboard, right? Other companies cannot do it.
Right? That's anti-competitive right there, surely.
It is. It simply is. They can do something that others cannot do because they own the platform. So we have another little example of
in
where
some
they
ways,
simply use their power.
Do you think like this is a short-term problem as technology gets easier? As technology trickles down and the Quest 2 becomes so much more easier to make, and obviously there's going to be a Quest 3, Quest 4, but I don't know whether this sort of power that they have in the VR industry, I kind of hope it's going to be just a short-term sort of thing over maybe sort of the next couple of years before I do feel there'll be a company, probably most likely Valve, I'm hoping. I think they'll be in a better position than most to really try and cater for that real need for a standalone headset without all that media and data bullshit that we all hate. Let's be honest, everyone hates it. There's no one who likes it. It's some people either
don't
really
care about it, probably
don't care about it, or they're
because
just
the product is so good.
Accept it. Yeah, exactly. But I do think, could this be a short term? It's not a problem, because I think what Oculus or Facebook has done with this has driven VR into almost not quite mainstream, in fact nowhere near, but we're getting closer, so it's a great thing. But I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to be a short-term thing.
That's an interesting thing, and I've thought about this a while, and I think I brought this up before as well, maybe even on this show, I'm not sure. But where if you were to say, overall, has Facebook been a net positive, given all of the ideas around privacy and data collection and things that people don't like? Facebook, is it a net positive for VR overall? Is it a benefit overall in the world of having VR, having Facebook a part of it? I would argue personally that the benefits outweigh the negatives, because the level of awareness of VR in the mainstream is much higher than I predict it ever would have been without. I also don't think we would have got a standalone not anywhere near the caliber of the Quest 2, which has had millions and millions of adopted people and spreading awareness of it. However, there is this other side of it, and if Facebook have too big a lead on this, then exactly. This is the issue, and this is the time. This is the time that we need other people coming in. Personally, I don't think Valve are the ones that we should be looking to, because they have a PC bias, a PC niche, which is fine, and it's going to be primarily around gaming with Valve. I think Apple are the one that can, the company that can take on Facebook and give us some kind of viable option. Whether you like Apple or not, at least it's a competitor.
Right.
Do you think though, with their sort of, what they have, Valve has got like such a massive ecosystem, and with the Steam Deck as well coming out, I just feel like surely the next step could be possibly some sort of wireless standalone device that would take take
That would be
advantage
great.
of.
I would be very happy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be, and I think that
Yeah,
would
we all
be a
would be very
huge
happy.
move. And if it was £500 or something, I still think it would be very competitive.
Well,
Yeah.
So with the Steam Deck thing, I struggle with this because I see people talking about a Valve standalone headset, and the reason I struggle is because I don't see a standalone headset being able to run the native software
Agreed.
on Steam
Agreed.
VR.
Right now, no.
I don't understand how that can fit in. And what a lot of people will say of the videos that I'm watching at the moment who are talking about this will say that it's perhaps not necessarily just a standalone Valve headset that we're looking at here. It's got onboard processing, which will benefit being linked to a PC as well. I would love a standalone Valve headset, but I just don't see where that could fit in without having their own standalone library, which is just not going to happen. It's got to
Totally
be a
agreed.
native Steam VR library.
I totally agree with you, Gary. So it is going to get its content from a PC somewhere. So I think it's still going to stay like Index right now. Probably wireless could be, but not completely standalone. That's what I
Who
think.
do you think would be the competitor then, if there is one out there? You think Apple then?
I think, personally, I think Apple are the ones that are most likely at the moment, but I think there are plenty of other people that could come in as well. Google could, but Google don't tend to stick with things. And
I just wanted to say, I'm so disappointed by Google. Not only because they ditched Daydream, which I was banking my channel on, my first Daydream district, but in general, it's strange. They could really be that competitor now if they stick to Daydream. They could have done the same things, right? They could also have that standalone headset, and they even had with the Lenovo Mirage, it was called. But they simply gave it up because they thought like, okay, we cannot make this mainstream like our other products. So yeah, let the others do the hard work, and we totally give it to Facebook. And I'm still sad about it, and probably they will lose that. They will give that headway to Facebook if they did, right? So it's probably bad.
You could also have the same arguments with Google as with Facebook a lot of the times as well, in terms of privacy and data collection, that kind of stuff. They're very similar companies in terms of that. Apple are a different kind of company. They're mainly a hardware company, but of course, people will bring up Apple collect just as much data as Facebook and Google, and I'm aware of that. It's how they use that data. And
just want to say the privacy is totally different.
Is not built on the acquisition of that data. It's built on hardware, and that's the difference.
And therefore, I must say I'm getting more and more positive about Apple. I was always the Android and PC guy, but I'm
still here.
But I still am, right? But for all the way that Apple is approaching the privacy, I start to like them more and more. And probably I am even going to try out an iPhone one fine day and see. I even bought the Magic Keyboard here.
There you go.
Is that the first? No, it won't be the first Apple product you've obviously bought.
No. I have an iPad as well, and I love it. I've been using it since years, and it's an old iPad now, several years. But I don't feel like replacing it because it's still so great. So it's
there's a couple of comments as well. I think Paul P Jr. and I think somebody else brought up Samsung as well. Samsung probably shouldn't be ignored on this front. I don't think they're of the level that could combat Facebook in terms of what they're trying to do. However, they could. They're a huge company, one that often gets ignored when we talk about this, and it's not inconceivable that they could bring out their own standalone thing. They're dominated the Android mobile phone market now. It's Apple and Samsung. I mean, they're the choices really a lot of the times when you're looking at these in terms of the biggest companies, the market share and that kind of stuff. Is it inconceivable that we could get a standalone Samsung VR headset? They'd have to have their own ecosystem and this kind of stuff.
There was that weird headset that they had painted on or something, wasn't it? That really weird looking bug thing.
Like a bee, but that wasn't a standalone. That was like a
that was a while ago.
Yeah. Gary, you just mentioned the main problem that I see with that device. What kind of ecosystem would they use? They're not working together with Oculus anymore, right? But they did before. So that would be a big surprise if suddenly they say, you know what? We're coming out with that amazing Samsung standalone headset, and We still have the good connections with
You need-
Oculus. The Quest store is there. Woo! But that would be really interesting, right? Do you think that that's possible?
They need some kind of collaboration with Google then, because the other thing is like on their mobile phones, Samsung have their own store. They have their own ecosystem on their phones as well as the Google Play Store as well, is my understanding. I'm not a Samsung user, but they have their own store, so they could. It's not inconceivable they could have their own store for VR and get developers on board, offer them a better rate than Oculus or something. I don't know. And on Akazi does say, why not ignore Samsung? They have been ignoring VR for the last few years. That's true. We've not seen a lot from Samsung in terms of VR.
It's sad because the Samsung Odyssey headsets, they were really good.
Yeah.
They were really good, and lots of people picked them up. And
It's funny, really, because like the Focus 3 is almost like, if they was able to subsidize it somehow, which they can't really, but HTC have got a good ecosystem. The Viveport is amazing, isn't it?
It is good.
If
they could do it,
somehow have a cheaper version of the Focus 3 with those, because what the reviews I've seen are pretty favourable, but obviously it's mainly for business. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Especially that headset.
They would have the
ecosystem.
Nice. Exactly. They would have the ecosystem. So in my opinion, it would be great if they could like open up that ecosystem more to others. And actually, they were doing that in China with, it was called Viveport Wave, where actually other headset manufacturers who supported that Wave, they would directly have that store and with lots of games and stuff. So I think that is actually the right kind of way to go about it. Just like Google one with Android, as in other companies could simply make the hardware, the phones, and they simply used that store. And HTC would be in a great position if they did open up that Viveport Infinity Store for other players, and they went out and opened it up to the West. In my opinion, that would be that I think would be a good way. And then they could work probably together with Samsung, and Samsung could offer that cool headset that can play those games. I think, yeah. Oh man, that would be good if that happened. We need competition.
I think regardless, 2022 is going to be a very interesting and very exciting year ahead. I think for AR as well, I think that's going to start becoming more mainstream, particularly with these sort of smart glasses and things as well. I might even buy something like myself actually next year, because I do want to experience what you were saying at the start of this stream, Gary, about I just love the idea of being able to access all that information, sort of like move it around. And I've never tried that, but I do think next year is going to be a very exciting year. I mean, I know we're only sort of halfway through this year, but I'm still looking towards next year already for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, Frank Son just says it. Sony's going to be there next year as well with the PSVR 2. So, wow, it's going to be super, super exciting. Yeah. And then we're now getting close to our 2-hour mark. And even without lots of topics, just as we had expected, we simply filled it with our excitement about VR and AR. So I believe if you don't have any more things to say or to add, do you have?
No, I think that's pretty much everything this week.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a quiet week on the news front, but of course, I knew we'd fill 2 hours easily.
Yeah, you're right, Gary. You're right. We succeeded in filling 2 hours without any problem again. Yeah, so that's it. That was Season 2, Episode 5 of the Next Dimension podcast. We do hope that you had a great time with us. If yes, right now, smash that thumbs up button right now. And also, if you would like to say, hey guys, you do a really great job, then please do give us a favorable review on iTunes. Simply get out your iPhone or iPad right now after the show, open the podcast app, find our podcast, and give us a review. We simply have too few reviews, dear friends who are watching this. So do that right now and write us a review so that more people can find this podcast. Other than that, we're absolutely looking forward to see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Yeah, Really good show again. And again, like always, right? Even though we didn't have anything, not so many topics, we made it happen. and Steve, you made it, even though you have to get up really early tomorrow, right?
I do, yeah. I've got to get up mega early tomorrow, but it's my own stupid idea. So
Wow, how long does it take to go to Ireland? I mean, how long have you have to travel?
Well, I'm going to basically go to Holyhead in the morning and catch the ferry. And I should be in Ireland by about midday, 1:30ish, depending on
what time you're leaving. What time are you leaving in the morning?
We're probably going to leave about 6 in the morning, I think. Maybe.
Okay, that's not too
yeah. So, but
it's still pretty bad though.
That's early for me. That's really early. But looking forward to it.
Yeah, nice. And how long will you stay there?
I guess we'll see how. Well, I'm going to be back at work soon anyway, so I'm probably about 10 days, I think, hopefully, because the weather's looking good.
10 days is so good.
Yeah. I just want to do the whole Wild Atlantic Way coast, which I just cannot wait. I've been wanting to do that for years, so yeah, really looking forward to that.
And where are you staying?
Just anywhere, really. I mean, we've got 3 hotels booked along the route now, but
perfect.
But apart from that, we're just going to kind of wing it and see where we end up, really, and just
Wow, love it, adventure. Oh man, that's
absolutely.
So
just traveling. I love traveling, especially on the bike. It's just amazing.
Wow. So everyone has their own bike, or your girlfriend is on your bike?
No, she's rides on the back as pillion.
Right.
She's
Okay.
Somehow she trusts me, so bless her. But yes, I wouldn't ride on the back of a bike personally, but no, she seems brave enough to do it. So
very cool.
Yeah, all good.
Great. Yeah, cool. Yeah, then let's simply stop this show now because you need to go to bed and also
sleep.
Yeah, right. Sleep, exactly. Good. So thank you everyone out there for watching today's show. Don't forget to smash that that thumbs up button. And then we're going to see each other very soon again here on the show. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, guys.